girl Star, the host, and welcome back to an episode part two of the Butterfly Throne podcast. Bear with me, I'm still getting the kinks of how to do this podcast thing, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? Thank you for listening so far. Thank you for watching my first video. Continue support. I appreciate the love and support. Um, the podcast today is basically reflecting and recapping of both Raw and SmackDown. I was gonna do NXT, but I feel like I'd say that for another day and time. But so far, I just want to get these two over with and done. Um, let's start off with Raw. Raw started off crazy. You had Division sticking kicking off the show with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman crashing out, as well as Division crashing out, but mostly it was those two. Um, Braun Breaker being pissed at the fact that he got cost his chance of winning the Rumble by a masked man who jumped him, stumped him, threw him in the ring to Obafemi in order to get eliminated out quickly. Um, he want to know who the masked man is. You have Braun Breaker, you have Bronson Reed and Logan Paul and Austin Theory holding him back, stopping him from lashing out. Um, Paul Heyman got out of the mic, dropped the F bomb and some other words of who this person is, including words towards Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce coming out to be an instigator at some way, shape, or form. Um, about basically trying to point the finger at Logan Paul or either Theory, because Theory was the masked man before. Having basically Theory, to question his surroundings. But yeah, it was a good little segment opening. I definitely would give that a good 7.5. But yeah, it was good. And then you had a segment not too long after that between Otis and Tozawa and some celebrity guy who they had before. Um, them basically talking about their opportunity next week to face the Usos in their match for the tag team champions. Also, you had Maxine Dupree there. She talking about her match against Natty next week. So yeah, um, it was mostly a bathroom break and whatever moment of that, but it is what it is. Um, the first match of that night was Penta versus Big Bronson Reed. Um, honestly, it was a decent match. Bronson Reed mostly had the most control of the match. Um, Penta had a few licks. I mean, it is what it is. Um, Penta ended up winning due to via count out because LA Knight interfered and hit Bronson Reed with a steel chair. When the referee was distracted with Paul Heyman, so he did not see. Um, with Logan Paul and Theory chasing LA Knight at the arena, um, Big Bronson Reed failed to get in the ring before the 10 count. Pencil win via discount count out. So yeah, um, it was a good solid 7. Being honest, it was a solid 7 of the rate. I rate that one. Then you had a video package of Stephanie Valkyra and Raquel Rodriguez about their upcoming match, and their feud so far of them attacking each other. It was okay. Um, then you had a segment with Dom coming out, being a surprise return because he'd been out due to injury. Surprise return in order to come out so he can introduce the female Royal Rumble winner, of Liv Morgan. Um, her coming out announcing she's the greatest women's Royal Rumble winner in history, which we all know is Cap or whatever. I mean, you gotta have some kind of faith in yourself. But yeah, um, her openly stating that she's going to go to SmackDown as well to, test the water of who she want to face at WrestleMania. Raquel telling her that she want Liz to stay in the background, no disrespect, that she want to be able to win this match on her own without interfere of Judgment Day, which that fell on deaf ears. Because you had Liv and Roxanne come out to interfere at some point during the match um, against Stephanie. Honestly, I feel like that match wasn't even in a street fight. It's not even a street fight because my definition of a street fight is old school wise. Meaning not only you in the arena and outside the arena, but you're in the audience, backstage, and even parking lot. And they didn't do none of that. That was more of a semi-hardcore match, if I'm being honest, because they stayed mostly ringside as well as inside the arena by using everything they could get from under the ring. Um, Overall, that was a good solid 7. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Um, but yeah. After that one, you had I said another Finn Balor um promo package because I think they did two that night. It was like two videos for Finn Balor. I guess like um reintroducing Finn Balor to the world, especially for those who never watched the Black and Gold NXT brand, like myself. But I know who Finn Balor is, but still, um, reintroducing him of how his accomplishments he had coming into NXT, being in NXT, coming to the main roster, becoming champion, had to relinquish the champion due to injury and things of that nature. Um, I feel like they dropped the ball on Finn and they trying to make it up in certain ways of right now what's going on because he only relinquished that world title due to a shoulder injury that was caused by Seth. And that man has spent years being back, even under Vince. And I feel like y'all just now in 2026 choosing to let's give Finn a chance type of thing. Yeah, plenty of opportunities. And I feel like Finn they threw Finn in Judgment Day because they didn't know what to do with him. And I feel like they put him in Judgment Day because, mind you, Judgment Day was the idea of Edge. It was Edge group with him, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest. And then eventually they kicked Edge out, and Finn Balor came in as the leader of Judgment Day, and then eventually became the background person. And the group basically focused mostly around Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, if I'm being honest. Um, yeah. And so I feel like every time you seen Finn Balor, it was more doing a tag team match with either him, Damian Priest, or either with JD McDonald, or even Dominic Mysterio himself. And eventually they put him in a tag team match or tag team belts with him and JD. And him and Damian Priest. And I feel like that's almost a semi, not to say that the tag team division or the tag team belts are not considered world champions or, a championship. I mean, that's good and all to have on your resume. But I feel like you stuck him in a mid-card title. And I feel like you had Dom become Intercontinental Champion way before Finn even touched that. And then it's kind of like Damian Priest himself became world champion before Finn. And I feel like now this your chance to try to do it. But it's kind of like, you're not going to give it to him. You're not going to give it to Finn when he's currently trying to face CM Punk. Because we already know the outcome between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And I feel like, yeah, I can see them booking Finn Balor versus CM Punk at Elimination Chamber, but we already know who's gonna win of that. So it is what it is. Um, but yeah, I feel like they should have been gave Finn Balor you know, his redemption story. I feel like he's been slept on as an in ring competitor, as a either top heel and top face when he was face, and then they slowly try to build him as a babyface in some ways, but then they have him pushing back as a heel by having Liv talk to him. And I was like, I don't know how they gonna do it. Maybe they gonna break them up at some point down the line, and he challenged Dom for his belt, which yeah, I'm here for it because they was going down that route anyways. But who knows what it is? What it is? It is what it is. But yeah, I feel like they need to do more when it comes to Finn Balor because I don't need you to fumble him. Um, then there was the segment between Roman Reigns and CM Punk, good solid promo segment in the middle of the ring. Um, you had Roman coming out doing his normal, acknowledgement thing in Philly. CM Punk come out interrupting him to order to walk to the went face to face with Roman. Eventually turned to the camera to talk shit about Finn Balor. Roman giving him the what the fuck face. Like you interrupt my match or my moment in order to talk about Finn Balor. And then eventually those two eventually changed words. And CM Punk felt like, if it wasn't for me, you and she would never be here. And that you learned from me because he was champion for 434 days. And that Roman did the exact same thing. That even though despite him, Roman doing it longer, CM Punk felt like he did it better. Roman laughed at that. Was basically just told CM Punk that only thing you taught me was what not to do, and that the only reason why I'm picking you because I can't stand you. I hate you. And so yeah, to be honest, that was a good 10 out of 10 segment. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I feel like if they keep up the promos in a segment like this weekly, especially if they can get Roman to be there more often with these segments and with these, moments with interfering and causing each other's matches and shit, I feel like it'd be a good build up to WrestleMania that you want to see. You know what I mean? So he's hoping they get Roman to be there more often, but if not, I mean, we can't expect anything else more or less from that. Let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown, Drew came out, um, got got through to the gorilla in order to get attacked from behind by Cody. Eventually, they had to separate them. Cody basically kicked off the show. Cody talking about, how Drew cost him the Royal Rumble and his chance to get his title back, and going back and forth off of that one. Then the whole nickname of Raheem. Like, they don't call me Raheem for nothing. And it's kind of like at this point, for years, people, especially in, I would say the black community, but I guess in general, people called him Raheem for the past couple months, maybe a year or so. He never really acknowledged it. And then you chose Black History Month to even bring up the nickname Raheem. And it's kind of like, you got some people that were cool with it, and then you got some people that's not cool with it. I'm one of those people that's in the middle because I don't know. It's like I'm in the middle, but I'm mostly pushing myself towards of the nah. And it's kind of like you're trying to be accepted to a culture that you're not accepted to. And just because you have a wife that's black, that doesn't mean you're accepted. You're the type of person, and not only just him, but other people too, who feel like because you either marry or dating somebody that's black, that automatically gives you a green card or black card or whatever the fuck it might be to the cookout, and that's a no. I feel like that's a slap in the face. Um, no, I feel like I agree. Not everybody needs to be the invite to the cookout. Some people just meant to be in a parking lot or meant to have their friends to bring home a good to go plate. And in this case, Cody need to be a person where Brandy need to bring him to go plate. It is what it is. Um, but yeah, it was besides that whole Raheem controversy or debacle that fans having a issue about in the IWC. That segment I give it like a 7. I'm honest. Um, and then you had the EO versus Rhea. No, EO and Rhea versus Julia and Kiana James as the first match of the night, with EO and Rhea winning. That's a 7.5. You know what I mean? Kiana James did a good job keeping up with the EO and Rhea. So yeah. Um then after that you had Jacob. Drew came out again for the second time to talk about what went on, but got attacked by Jacob Fatu instead. Not a good night for Drew McIntyre for sure. And then the next following match, you had Tama Tonga versus Shinsuke Nakamura, with Tama Tonga winning. I feel like Shinsuke Nakamura is on his, farewell tour as well. And I feel like they didn't do him no justice by him making him lose, if I'm being honest. Um, but yeah, next match you got the women's triple threat match for the Elimination Chamber qualifying match of Chelsea Green versus Tiffany versus Lash Legend. Lash Legend was a VP. Lash Legend was definitely the VIP for that match. Um, I feel like they gave it to Tiffany. Tiffany won, which I was kind of disappointed because I kind of either want I wanted Lash Legend. Let's be honest. To be honest, you know what I mean. I get why they get Tiffany. You know, she's a current it girl. Honestly, she could have stayed gone. Be honest, she was not needed. Her service was not needed. Um, but yeah, um, Chelsea would have won. That'd have been like a very interesting outcome. If I'm being honest, that would have been a very interesting outcome. Um, but not Jade Lash, definitely did her thing. Um, After that, you had the Kit Wilson coming into the ring and fans behind him with his theme song, and he basically had a whole section about all the men in the Royal Rumble as well as the people in the audience being a toxic masculinity. That man is a hoot. Um, but yeah, and then he had a one-on-one match with Obafemi, and Obafemi basically kicked his ass. Um, then there was a segment between Ilya Dragunov and The Miz, and how that, as well as Mello, and how Miz gloated about how he not gonna get his title, a chance to go to the United States champion or whatever, and Carmelo guaranteed Dragunov another rematch, but Miz never getting one. And then eventually there was a Miz versus Carmelo match for a non-title match. Carmelo winning, beating the Miz. Um, let's see. I rate that match because that was a good as match. I would rate that a good solid 8. I'm being honest, because Melo in ring skills and pedigree is great. Um, let me see. Drew came out. Oh no man. You have Nick Aldis, brained out Liv, who was announcing who she may face or whatever. And then Jay came out. No, it was Liv and Raquel who came to SmackDown. Sorry. Liv and Raquel came to SmackDown, talking about who she may or may not face and whatever the case might be. Jay came out and said that, I guess she was saying like her safest bet is to go against Stephanie instead of her. And that if she does choose her, that she will whoop her ass. Um Jordan Grace came out, stuck her nose in the business that didn't belong, and said that I guess, like, okay, how you gonna come here and try to demand a match with Jay when Jay refused to put her title on the line against herself, or whatever the case might be. Eventually, all went back and forth. Liv got into it. They both told Liv to shut the fuck up, bitch, which was hilarious. Um, Nick Aldis put them in a tag team match. It was Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace versus Liv and Raquel, with both Jay kicking Jordan Grace by accident, and Raquel kicking Liv by accident. Um, Jade and Jordan won um, via roll up count on Liv. No, on Raquel. Um, yeah, and then you had Raquel and Liv looking at each other in the ring. Liv looking pissed at Raquel. So we already know that outcome at WrestleMania is going to probably be a triple threat match between Liv, Stephanie, and Raquel. But it is what it is. Um, it was I said good 7. I'm being generous, a good 7 of how I rate that match. Um, it followed by the last match of the night was the men's triple threat match. Was between Randy Orton, Solo Sikoa, and Aleister Black. It was a good ass match. Um, with Randy Orton winning, I give that match an 8.5. It was an overall good match. This is needed for Randy Orton because I hope he do reach number 15 for title belt. But Triple H ego isn't playing a part in that too, so we don't know how that's gonna play itself out. But it is what it is. Um, yeah. So thank you guys for listening to me rant about wrestling. Um, I definitely will try to get into doing more wrestling, whether it's SmackDown, NXT, PLEs, even TV shows for that matter. Um, Even like real life stuff at some point, like what's going on in the media. But so far, I'm just sticking to my wrestling. I might branch out and do something else, but who knows? But thank you guys for listening to me. I appreciate the encouragement. I appreciate the following, the views and whatnot. Thank you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again for listening to episode 2 of the Butterfly Throne podcast, hosted by me, your girl Star. Thank you.